welcome to Kaylee's Corner. I'm so glad that you guys are here with me. I had another dream that I wanted to share with you guys. This one was from March 5th, 2022. If you see me looking down, I wrote it all down so that I could reference it. So let's go ahead and get started. So in this dream, I woke up and I was just kind of like not in a panic, but like I could feel the adrenaline from this dream. So it was like really prevalent in my mind. So I'm like, I know I really needed to write this down. And it was this really weird dream where it was like a mix of like an obstacle course in the middle of a jungle. And it was kind of like a mix of Ninja Warrior, if you've seen that, and like Wipeout. And so it was just like these intense obstacles, and they were like built into the forest. And so it was like swinging from vines and like jumping across trees and jumping across these rivers and like, you know, almost like army crawling across this canyon. And like it was insane. And I remember like they kind of like zoomed out so I could see the whole course. And then it was just me and a bunch of other people, and we were all kind of standing at the starting point, I guess. And I could tell everyone was kind of talking around, you know, talking amongst themselves like, hey, you want to go first? You want to go first? Like, I don't want to go first. Like, that one looks really sketchy. And so like I could just kind of hear no one really wanted to take the first step. It was, you know, kind of scary, and everyone was kind of fearful of it, and it looked really intimidating. But weirdly enough, in the dream, I just had this boldness about me where I was like, oh, this is fine. Like, I can do this. So I just kind of like marched right up to the front of like the starting point and just kind of, you know, was trying to gauge this first obstacle. I wasn't really fearful of it, but it was definitely like I needed to kind of like be strategic about it. And because it was like where I was standing, it was, I don't really know, like a ravine, I guess. It was like you had to jump off of this ravine, and then you had to land like hug this tree and like land on the tree and like hold on to it, and then you had to like shimmy your way around the tree, and like the whole thing, like you're all above the ground, like it was like hundreds of feet in the air. So I had to like jump from this ledge, like ravine thing, jump across it, stick onto the tree, hold onto the tree, and then like shimmy my way around it. And so I could kind of like see myself in the dream. It was like, you know, I'd kind of like think about it, and I'd like, oh, I'm gonna do it, nope. And then I'd like, you know, kind of take a step back, and I'd kind of look at it from a different angle and look at it and like, okay, I'm ready. And then you'd like think about going, and then I wouldn't do it. And it took me a couple tries of like thinking about it and not going, and thinking about it and not going. And then eventually it was just like, okay, you can do this. You just need to jump. Like, just do it. I'm gonna catch you. You're gonna be fine. You've got this. And so it was like, okay, I took one last look at it. I'm like, all right, I can do this. And so, you know, kind of like jumped from the edge of this ravine, jumped right on top of the tree, just like bear hugged the tree, could feel like the bark all over me. And I was like, oh, thank goodness, you know, he didn't die. And, you know, because dreams make so much sense. And so I'm like hugging this tree, it's hundreds of, you know, feet in the air. And I was like, okay, well, like, it was almost like that was the easiest part. And so then, you know, I kind of found myself shimmying around the tree, and then right on the other side of the tree there was like this vine that they had kind of like intended was like this swing thing, and you had to like catch, you know, like latch onto this vine, and then this vine would like take you, you know, like you would have to swing all the way across to the next obstacle. And so you had to like kind of hold on to the tree and then like grab the vine, and then you had to like kind of jump off and push into the like free fall of holding onto this vine, and then it would swing you onto the next set of obstacles. And I don't remember all of the obstacles, but I definitely remember that first one was the hardest, or at least it was what seemed to be the hardest for me. And it was like almost like getting started was the hard part. Was like, you can do this, but you have to get started first. And so then after, you know, I kind of got into the rhythm of it, even though the obstacles were still difficult. And like I remember like having to like climb across this like ravine and like looking down and like just thinking like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. But it didn't really seem to be as alarming as the first obstacle was. And so then, you know, I made it through this whole entire obstacle course. It seemed like it kind of took a long time, But then like when I made it to the end, everyone was there, and like, you know, I could hear like everyone whispering as I was like finishing up the last obstacle and like climbing down this tree, you know, to like say like you're done or whatever. And you know, I could hear everyone kind of whispering like, wow, like she made that look so easy, like I don't think I could do that, like that just looks really intimidating. And just like a lot of the whispers of, you know, kind of the doubts, and like how did she do that, like how did she make that look so easy, like there's no way that like the whole thing looked impossible, how in the world did she do that? And I just kind of remember like climbing down, and there was like the instructor, and the instructor was, you know, kind of hesitant to congratulate me, like, oh yeah, you know, you did a good job and all, but you didn't really do it in the correct order. And I remember thinking in the dream, like, there was no order. Like, I could do this however I wanted as long as you got from point A to point B, and like you didn't fall, you didn't, you know, all of these crazy things, you did the obstacles, you got from here to here. And so I remember like kind of, you know, looking out and being like, okay, well, I finished it and no one else has even accomplished this yet, so I'm gonna take this as a win. Appreciate your support, or like your knowledge, but I think I did a pretty good job, and I feel successful with this, so I'm gonna just head on out. I don't know, it was very interesting. But what I felt like the takeaway from this dream is I feel like a lot of people, we're in this season of, we kind of can see the course in front of us, like see the path, can see the dreams or the goals or the passions or all of the ideas, and you kind of can see like, okay, this is kind of what it looks like. And when you're standing at the start point, it looks so intimidating, and almost you literally just see everything that looks like an obstacle. You see this as an obstacle, you see that as an obstacle, and you just see this long line of obstacles, and it looks really intimidating, and it's just overwhelming. And I that's the feeling I was feeling at the starting point, was like, I think I can do this, but I really don't know if I can do this. Like, I just don't even think I can get started. And I feel like that's definitely where the Lord was in this dream, was just take the step. Just get started, like literally just jump in. It's going to be okay. Like, the hardest part is getting started. Like, that's what I remember from this whole dream, is the hardest part was just simply getting started and taking that initial step, taking that initial leap into it. And then everything else just kind of like fell into place, like, oh, you can do this, oh, this is gonna work out, this is gonna be all right. And like, it just kind of was seamless from there on. But I just really feel like God's saying, like, just take the step, just jump in, just, you know, start whatever you feel like he's calling you to do, wherever you feel like you're feeling called to. I guess my encouragement is just take the step, just go for it, just jump in, do whatever you can do right now that's going to continue moving you forward in the direction that you want to go. And the second part of this dream, I felt like, was the fact that the instructor had said, like, I didn't really do it in the correct order, and I didn't really, you know, accomplish it in their terms of accomplishments. And I feel like God's heart is like, there's no specific way for you to do it, for me to do it. Like, as long as we do it, as long as we, you know, step out in faith and we follow him and we just jump in and like all consumed, like, all right, God, we're yours, we want to do this, you know, and we're blindly, you know, walking by faith, like blindly following God in whatever this path looks like. For you, like, there is no specific way. If what is stopping you is something from the world saying, hey, you need this kind of education, or you need this kind of you know, finances, or you need this level of status, or, you know, you have to be this age or this gender or this ethnicity or this religion. I mean, if there is anything that is like a true obstacle, that it is preventing you from moving forward, because it feels like, man, I'm totally would be going the wrong way. I would not be following the right path. And I just would encourage you that that's not God's heart, that he just wants you to take a step forward. He just wants you to be faithful and follow him, because he is faithful, and he will be faithful, and he will bring you through to the other side. You will accomplish it. You will make it past every obstacle, and they're not going to hinder you. But it's probably not going to look like what you think it's going to look like. It's probably not going to follow the the guidelines, the rules, the regulations, the normal path, whatever it is for you, and whatever that path has looked like in the past, it's probably not going to look like that for you, because I really feel like God's like, he's making a new way. Things are going to look different, and he's reshaping the world. He's reshaping our minds, like he is restructuring everything. So do not look to the world. Do not look to how things have been done before. Do not look to those things as being that the reasons why you can't do something, or why you shouldn't take a step out, because I really believe like God's heart in this is like, he will make a way for you, and it's not going to look like how the world has said it should look like, but that does not mean that you are not going to accomplish what he wants you to accomplish. It does not mean that you're not going to make an impact. I really feel like we have to kind of get out of that mindset of what has looked like a certain thing or been a certain way. Like God is like taking that out and being like, no way. Like, I want to do it differently. I want to do it differently. Do you trust me? Do you trust me to do it differently with me? And maybe you've tried it before and it was, I don't want to say it was a fail, but maybe you've tried whatever this is before and it wasn't as successful. I would encourage you, do it again. Do it again, this time with God. Ask for his divine instructions, ask for his guidance, and look at it from a different angle. Literally look at it from a different angle. Look at it from this way or from that way, and take all of those restrictions, all of those guidelines away, and see what are you left with, and then take the step with those, with the ability that you have right here, right now. Because I really feel like God, like he's got a beautiful path picked out for you. Not to say that there won't be obstacles, but I really feel like through this obstacle course, the obstacles looked impossible to everyone else. But it's just that knowing, that feeling of nothing is impossible with God. And so whatever this may be for you, if it's looking impossible, or if it's looking like there's no way I can do it, or I'm not qualified, or this path doesn't make sense, I will be paving my own way, like nothing is impossible with God. He just wants us to step out in faith and take that leap, get started, and he's going to help you overcome those obstacles. They're not even going to be obstacles. They're just simply going to be a thing that you just walk right through, or you jump right over, or you climb around. Like, they will have nothing on you. But from the starting point, I know they look really intimidating. And so I feel like that's what God's saying, is just take the next step. Just take the next step. Like, just jump in, and we're just going to go a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. And before you know it, you're going to look behind you and be like, whoa, I just accomplished all of those things that I had no idea I could do. So yeah, I pray that this is encouraging to you. I felt like it was really encouraging to me. And I had some scripture that I wanted to go ahead and read to you. Let's see. The first one is from Matthew 19. It says, Jesus looked at them intently and said, humanly speaking, it is impossible, but with God, everything is possible. And like right there, yes, that's all we need to know. Everything is possible with God. And then from Psalm 78, it says, but he led his own people like a flock of sheep, guiding them safely through the wilderness. And so I really felt like that was another part of this dream, is like I wasn't really doing the obstacle course alone. I like definitely felt like I knew what to do and how to do it and how to accomplish, or like overcome these obstacles. So I really feel like God's saying, like, I will lead you, I will make a way, and it's going to be okay. Let's see, Isaiah 58 says, the Lord will guide you continually, giving you water when you are dry and restoring your strength. You will be like a well-watered garden and like an ever-flowing spring. So, I mean, just to know that God is with you, and he will be with you every step of the way. And you don't have to do it on your own. You don't have to do it in your own strength. You don't even really have to know the full plan. All you have to do is trust in God that he's going to make a way, and it's going to be perfectly perfect for you. And let's see, Isaiah 26 says, but for those who are righteous, the way is not steep or rough. You are a God who does what is right, and you smooth out the path ahead of them. Again, just a reminder that he's smoothing out the path. He's taking out those obstacles, and he's leading you through it, and it's going to be okay. And then Proverbs 4 says, I instruct you in the way of wisdom, and I will lead you along straight paths. Again, God's got it all figured out. It's not for us to figure out. It's just for us to be obedient and for us to follow him. And the last one here is from Psalms 23. It says, he renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. And I wanted to go ahead and finish with that because I feel like whatever these things are in our hearts that the Lord is leading us to, and we feel the magnitude of them. Like, they are big. They are either life-altering, life-changing, life-giving. I mean, whatever these are. I mean, career changes or moving geographically. Maybe it's marriage. Maybe it's new families. Maybe it's starting on a new business. Maybe, like, I can't speak for what it is for you, but I know that we all feel the magnitude of it. It is heavy. It is big. It is massive. And I feel like that's where God wants to come in, is because he wants to show off. He wants the glory. And so to man, to the rest of the world, whatever it is that we're looking at doing or that God's calling us to do probably looks impossible. Or at least we look unqualified, or we are, whatever the world has said to them, they believe it is impossible, or at least not willing to try. And so I feel like that's really where God's heart is he's like, let me show the world what I can do through you. Are you my willing vessel? Can I show the world what I can do through you? And that it's about God's name. It's about God's glory, and it really is about bringing more people to know God, because these are going to be miracles. These are going to be huge dreams, huge, just the magnitude of these things are going to change the world, or they're going to change the world for people, or for a community, or for a nation, or for, all of these different areas. Like, I really feel like God is just looking for his obedient vessels so that he can show up and show off to the rest of the world and really show who he is, and that nothing is impossible with him. So he's really just looking for our faith, looking for our obedience of, I don't know how you're going to do this, God, but I trust you. And that's all we need is, I don't know how you can do this, God, but I trust you. And I really would love to see what you have planned. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm like, yeah, God, I don't know how you're going to do this, but I really want to see it. Like, I really want to see it come to pass, because it's going to be amazing. And so I really just pray that you would hear God's heart in this, that don't give up and don't let the obstacles deter you, because he's got a way, he's got a plan, and he's going to bring you through. And those obstacles aren't even going to be a problem. And he's going to be able to show the rest of the world how amazing he is, and that how obedient you are, and the level and the magnitude of your faith is going to be what changes the world for someone else. And then they're going to start to dream again. And then God's going to be able to do it through their life, and then through their friends and their family. And it's just going to be this big wave of, look at how amazing God is. So yeah, I pray that this blesses you. I pray that you would just continue taking those steps forward, no matter how small they are or how insignificant they may feel to you. Nothing that you are doing in faith will go, or nothing that you do in faith is wasted. I guess let me put it that way. Nothing, even if you feel like it's small, it won't be wasted. God will use it. And I'm so excited to see what he's doing in your life. I'm so excited to continue sharing what he's doing in my life. And yes, God is moving, and he doesn't see any of these things as obstacles. So let's just like fly through this obstacle course and get to the other side and show the rest of the world like nothing is impossible with God. I pray that you have a blessed rest of your day, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.